So today
we're reviewing
The Burbs.
this is starting out the Halloween series I was teasing. We are reviewing The Burbs today, the first Halloween-themed movie. And what are your overall thoughts of the movie The Burbs?
The Burbs is a great film. It's something that we've watched our entire lives growing up. I remember this movie as a kid, and just as I've gotten older, I've watched it more and more times, and just so many great scenes. Honestly, it's a perfect movie. Obviously, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. And there's great comedy, great storyline, great characters, and I definitely enjoy this film a lot.
What are your overall thoughts of The Burbs, if anyone can see you?
No, just like Jake said, The Burbs is definitely a really, really good movie. I think it's simply made and more of a simple movie, but it really turned out to be one of our favorites. Not only myself, but our family. Definitely one that fits the Halloween theme really well. But good, suspenseful, comedic horror, and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is definitely a perfect movie. This could fit into the My Favorite Movie series, but this is just our Halloween series. And this is a movie that, it's called The Burbs. We're referring to the suburbs, and we do live in the suburbs. So it definitely is relatable for us, even though this is a comedy, and there are a lot of stuff that it's just a joke for a lot of the stuff. But there is some realism to it as far as the being skeptical of your neighbors, and especially in these suburbs, how there's a lot of different notes there, here and there. But just so everyone knows, we are from the suburbs, so anything we say, we are a part of the Burbs. But I guess what are some major positives about this movie for you?
I just think like we just talked about, the scenes are just perfect. There's so many great lines. I mean, I feel like we're quoting this movie every single day. The villains of the movie, kind of like the bad guys, are really funny. Honestly, everything's a positive in this movie. I mean, I think there's a lot of great jokes. All the comedy lands, in my opinion. Kind of just how relatable it is to our life, and just how there's certain characters. There's the military person that lives in the neighborhood. There's the guy who eats all the food and art, Ray, and just how he just the way they're sneaking around, spying around the neighborhood, make sure everything's good. The music's perfect also, and I just think it's the whole movie takes place in the same area, and you would think that would be a negative, but it really isn't. It's a really simple movie, but it's really it's a really great movie.
No, I agree. I mean, the whole movie to me is positive. Definitely from the beginning to the end. Like these guys are saying, there's good comedic things thrown into it as far as lines, very likable characters, guys that you can relate to your own neighborhood. Like they said, this is definitely called The Burbs for the suburbs, which is where we live. And you can see these same likenesses in your neighborhood that are in this movie, and so I think that's why it's real easy to watch. Really get you get your mind off of anything else that may be bothering you. A great movie to kind of kick back and watch over and over again and enjoy.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie that This is definitely a movie that's very character driven. There's so many great characters, like you mentioned. You got Ray, Art, the Klopex, and Walter Rumsfeld, and then Ricky Butler. There's
Mark.
There's a lot of great characters in this movie, and there's really no special effects. There's no crazy things that happen in this movie. It really is just character driven, and you obviously have Carrie Fisher and Tom Hanks as the main characters in this movie, very big actors. And you have a couple others that were so good in this movie, but then I just feel like I've never seen them in any other movie ever again. But it definitely is very character driven. There's just these characters drive the movie. They're so good and they're so fun to watch, and their comedy is just great. In particular, with Ray and Art, their comedy together is just great in different scenes. But I guess why don't we go through some great scenes?
Yeah, probably one of my favorite scenes as far as funniest scenes go is probably the scene when they're going to visit the Klopex at their house. I mean, that whole sequence is a great scene.
There go the goddamn brownies.
Just going to see them in person, because obviously before that point they were just spying on them from the outside, and just the whole setting of their house being that old scary looking house with the basement making the loud sounds. Yeah, so that's probably my favorite scenes. I'd probably say all the scenes involving them just spying on the Klopexes are really good scenes.
Yeah, I agree. I think when they're going to see the Klopex for the first time, the wives talk them into going. I think when Rumsfeld drops the brownies, his comments after that were definitely a classic. I think when they also pull it together, Ray gets the two guys alone, and there's a couple comments in there that are really neat as far as Rumsfeld asking him to take his balls out of his wife's purse.
Why don't you just take your balls out of your wife's purse? Make a stand for one time in your life.
The other one where Ray's standing there looking off in the distance with a pretty crazy stare, and basically says, no one's going to knock off an old man in my neighborhood.
I'm going over the fence, and I'm not coming back till I find a dead body. Nobody knocks off an old man in my neighborhood and gets away with it.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely obviously great scenes. I think a great scene I have to point out is when Art and Ray are walking out of their house. They're kind of looking around, and they finally see one of the Klopeks step out of the house. And Art calls him out for not going up to say hi.
You know, this would be the perfect time because you could go up and talk to him. We could see what he's like. He's gonna go in. Well, there, now you've blown it, haven't you?
No, I'm not chicken because he went into his house.
Well, he went into his. You know, you look like a chicken in front of your son and everything. Your son.
Has some funny banter there. Then when they actually decide to walk up to the house, you get the stares from everyone in the neighborhood, and then you get the stare from this dog here, Queenie. It's definitely one of the better scenes. It's a hilarious scene. I don't know if it's my favorite in particular, but it's definitely a classic scene. One quote in particular that he says that we all live in the same town, but you live right next to him, and that was his comment to him there. Should we go through like a favorite line?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say my favorite line is probably when, just growing up as a kid watching this movie, I feel like it was when Rumsfeld dropped the brownies instead of dropped all the guys doing brownies. That's probably my favorite line there.
There go the goddamn brownies.
Or at the end when Ray goes on his long speech, when he's getting mad at Art about saying how they're the lunatics and not the Klopeks.
They're the lunatics! Us! It's not them! It's us.
I don't know what to say. What, do you want me to move?
And just that whole sequence again. I wanted to mention that at the end when how it ends, like with him like chasing down the one, what's his name, Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah.
Pinocchio! Where are you going? Gotcha!
And then he calls him out as like Pinocchio, and then just like when the whole house blows up and Ray like slides down the steps. All those scenes are pretty good scenes.
No, I agree. There's tons of lines in this movie that we have quoted, like Kenny said, over and over again. A lot of memorable lines, and I guess I'll stick with one. Art is one of my favorite characters, kind of a goofball in the neighborhood, but he's definitely got some classics. One where he's standing there. I know I quote with these guys all the time. You want to go down to the deli and get a couple deli sandwiches. That's a small
it's like
one,
11
but
in the
good.
morning.
And I think when he's sitting with Ray in the basement, he has several lines in that down there.
Look at this. Black masses, mutilations. The incubus, the succubus.
Now,
I want to kill everyone. Satan is good. Satan is our pal. Ray, you're chanting. Once they get in here, it's over, pal.
In this movie, like we said before, just every neighborhood basically, I think, can relate to this movie.
Yeah, I think especially with quarantine, we've had moments where we kind of relate back to looking at a neighbor and getting really paranoid, like what is he up to, what's that person doing, and this movie takes it to the extreme of actually breaking into someone's house and like so determined that something wrong is happening. There is the classic dream sequence with Ray, and then Art comes up as a Skip, and actually that is one line I have to mention is that Art is talking about Skip and Skip's family in the middle. You know what scene I'm talking about if you've seen this movie.
Green sky at night. Neighbor take flight. You know, did you ever see the movie The Sentinel, Mr. Peterson?
And he talks about how his family was killed with an ice pick, and then he makes up the whole story just to scare Ray. Then that's definitely a very classic scene right there.
Who ordered the blood shake, right?
Yeah, then in the nightmare scene, then he says
Hey! Who the heck ordered the blood shake?
It's also the scene with the garbage guys in the streets as a good sequence when they're like throwing the garbage out of the dump truck and
The succubus, the incubus.
Yeah, the incubus, the succubus, and then Art telling Ray that once they get up here, it's over, pal. And then obviously the end when Art's running out of the house, says we hit a gas fuse, it's gonna blow.
We hit a pipe! There's all kinds of gas! It's gonna blow!
And also didn't remember seeing a moving truck in front of the house.
I don't understand that. It was parked outside all day.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And that is the thing in particular. The Klopeks are the bad people in this movie. You think they're bad, and then you think they're good, but then they end up turning bad, or being bad. They're definitely very good. Obviously, the Hans is kind of just doesn't really talk much, but then you have Rube, who is pretty good and really creepy in the movie. He really does sell the role of being this weird, creepy guy. And then the Doctor is obviously good. I've seen him in some movies. But I guess, do you want to give a final thoughts?
Like I said before, I think I said in my first statement, I definitely think that The Burbs is a 10 out of 10 film. It's a perfect movie. I watched it growing up my entire life, and I feel like it gets better and better each time, and it's a perfect movie. There's no boring parts. Every single scene's hilarious, and there's like a point to it, and it's not even that long either. It's a pretty quick film, but it doesn't need to be that long. And I definitely was always frustrated that there was no sequel to this. I mean, there really wasn't anywhere to go with it, but I'm sure they could have done something. Someone else moves in or something like that. But I definitely love this movie, and it's 100% a 10 out of 10 for me.
I'll go with the same thing. Like I said, just a really good movie to sit back and watch. I will throw in a little bit of a note that there are alternate endings to this movie. That'll be on the tape or the DVD, whatever you watch. I like the original the best, but definitely one of my favorite movies, and I enjoy it every time we watch it.
Yeah, this is definitely a classic movie. This is one we've seen all our life, like Jake said, and it definitely has just great characters. There's not one bad character in this movie. Great scene after scene, and it just makes it even better that we are in the suburbs. So there's so many things in this movie that we relate to perfectly, that not breaking someone's house, but being paranoid about other people in the neighborhood, and especially with quarantine, that's all we could focus on, just other people in the neighborhood. So it's definitely really funny to see not only this play out for them, but then the extent they go to is just all really funny. And it's definitely a perfect movie. I give it a 10 out of 10. I already said it'd be in my favorite movie series.
So thanks for watching our first edition to the Halloween series. Be ready for a few more Halloween movies to be reviewed in the coming weeks. This is the first one. So thanks for watching our review.
And then some short horror reviews.
Yeah, some reactions to short horror films. But thanks for watching our thanks for watching our movie review of The Burbs, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.
Good year.
Hey, you and the dog!
He comes over here to smoke cigars. His wife won't let him. He doesn't know I know that. Hi, Ray. How you doing, bud?